Okay, this one. Okay. Thank you very much for introduction. I beg your pardon. As you can imagine, I'm not from this country and will be more evident throughout my presentation. Well, we are a real-time assistant supporting healthcare performance. What does it mean? We started a few years ago dealing with public healthcare in Italy, and what we found is that hospitals went through the adoption of IT tools through years. So many vendors participating to the landscape during years, providing solutions that can or cannot interoperate properly, depending on how each vendor is open to share his own data or on how much time has been spent in dealing with integration. So this can lead to poor team and patient communication. I mean, if the information is not available at hand, when a patient inquiry arrives, a physician may take some time in order to answer to the patient. For example, when I will undergo surgery, I don't know, we will call you when it's time. So that's a kind of issue which, on the other side, reflect a problem in the communication between people. So people dealing with patients may not be in connection with people just scheduled in theater or working in pre-admission clinic. Another drawback of poor integration is on the planning, because when you don't have data, you cannot have a perspective on all resources. Typically, hospitals work on resources assigned on surgical units, and this could lead to inefficiencies, because if you allocate some resources to a unit and then that unit is not able, for whatever reason, to put patient into the theater, that could be lead to a, well, to a misuse or to underuse of a theater, of a surgical theater. So this is reflected, as you can see in the newspaper, in the NHS, issues on waiting times. This is the rather biggest impact we can see on patients. This source is from The Guardian, which has been told is left-wing, so I went for other sources and found that not only The Guardian is working or speaking against the NHS, it's fairly objective, the attacks from every side. So the latest issue is that the NHS said it is going to drop the 18 weeks pledge on waiting times, with constraint in terms of surgeon from the Royal College of Surgeons that said, okay, on one side it is good to fund accident and emergency department, it is good to find cancer departments, but we cannot forget hip replacement or knee replacement, because if you undergo surgery too late, the surgery became more complex, length of stay will increase, this chair may require rehab, and that's an issue and an increase in cost. So dropping a waiting time pledge may be not the right decision. So we worked and we found that it's possible to, but to put it simple, to prioritize. In every business sector, companies prioritize. A software company prioritize how they solve on the issue on their software, while a logistics company may prioritize on how packages are delivered to customer houses. So why not to prioritize in healthcare while respecting NHS waiting time and NHS pledges? That means that I can have today a waiting list which is organized like that. So not a bunch of data spread across different systems, but an organized view, a comprehensive view on all of the patients, organized by priority, so in top, people that must undergo surgery first, and on bottom, people that must undergo surgery later, which is not a matter of software deciding what to do instead of the clinician. That's an important point, and that's why we call ourselves a real-time assistant. But it's a matter of providing in real time the information on how many patients do you have on your list which are going to breach, for example, in the next month. That can be lead to better allocation of pre-admission clinic resources, to better allocation of theater, and also to better communication in the team. If you have gallbladder or gallbladder without pain, well, that's a completely different process in the hospital. If you have pain, you may undergo a magnetic resonance, for example, and if the requesting physician asks for that investigation too late, probably you are going to breach. So having a dashboard that helps you rise or make it evident and every issue an anesthetist requiring further investigation, a patient canceling an appointment, or whatever, from clinical to logistical to communication issues, make more efficient management of the process, so at a glance. So that's the story about it.
You hold on to that. Hopefully somebody can ask
Sure.
the question later. But thank you, Ivan. So any questions from the audience? We have our moving mic here. Why don't I start this question? So what sort of traction have you seen, Evan?
Yeah, thank you very much for letting me explain that slide. Yeah. Really appreciated. We had customers in Italy which helped us to validate the process from a clinical point of view, and we are running a service improvement project at Royal London Hospital in a surgical unit, which helped us to better suit the product to NHS needs, and also to extract first metrics in terms of how much time can be saved in managing the patients.
What's the feedback that you've got from the clinicians at the Royal London using it?
The feedback is it's really beautiful to have all the information in a very single place. Because, for example, to check if a patient is going to breach, they have to query different systems and maybe make some calls, send an email. Depending on what I said before, is that patient going to need some investigation, or is it ready for surgery? In our system, if the patient is ready for surgery, is just, he has just completed or light up some icon. So it's an immediate information.
So they just log in and they can see this?
Yeah, depending on the role, of course, depending on the role of the user, they can access different type of information.
Any other questions? Yes, yeah, great.
Okay, my first question was actually about the traction in Italy.
Yeah.
That's been asked. Do you see similarities between the two systems, between the Italian system and the UK system?
Yeah, sure they are, because basically UK is on the beverage model, which has been adopted by Italy. So that's the reason why we are going to UK, because that could be a springboard for other countries that are following on the UK model, and also because the systems are pretty similar, public funded, similar issues.
Brilliant. Thank you.
I was just going to make a comment to say that it would be great if you can link the system to the system that tells the bed statuses in the hospital.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure it is. When we call ourselves a platform with some deep learning inside, well, the real truth is that we are able, for example, to provide automatic scheduling of surgical theater, considering also bed occupancy. Okay. So that can be used not necessarily in an operational way, but also in a simulation way, just to provide a first idea of what kind of resources I will need, for example, in the next month.
Because then you could actually look at the whole linear journey of the surgery. I mean, starting from entering in the hospital
exactly.
to...
Starting from consultant visit up to discharge.
Yeah, okay.
I was actually going to make the same comment. That it would be wonderful if then you could suggest automatically when to be seen or when to be admitted, ultimately, because that's the best, obviously, the best value.
Yeah, that's a good question. But again, well, to make something automatic, well, it's important to understand what we make automatic, because if there is too much automation, then you tend to be a sort of medical device which will provide a decision or or a strong indication of treatment to the clinician, like monitoring equipment in the theater, for example. So if you tell the clinician you have to take this patient, put it into the operating theater today, you are on some way helping the clinician take a decision, and on the other way you are, well, telling the clinician what he should do. So we should be aware of what we make automatic and what is not, because, well, being a medical device and prescribing surgery is a completely different topic.
Any other questions from the audience? One last one. So, And Ivan, you're starting with elective waiting lists. Are there any other processes or pathways that you can see that you're planning next?
We are focused on elective because it's, well, not an urgent or whatever, but not only on surgery, but medical treatment or mental health treatment or access to social care or to rehab. Whenever there's a queue, we maybe have a role. But since we validate what we do, I'm confident on surgeries, I'm confident on acute trust processes. I'm happy to find someone to partner on other type of processes.
I feel there's a song there somewhere. When there's a queue. There we are. Wonderful. Thank you very much.